These are not normal times, and so the response that we are asking for from the judicial system and from the courts requires that we file suit at this particular moment. What we are seeing right now is not normal immigration enforcement.
Minnesota and Illinois are suing the Trump administration, calling federal immigration enforcement an invasion. The rhetoric is heating up, and the legal arguments are getting wild. Let's break down exactly what is happening.
These are not normal times, and so the response that we are asking for from the judicial system and from the courts requires that we file suit at this particular moment. What we are seeing right now is not normal immigration enforcement. We are not asking ICE not to do ICE things. We are asking this federal government to stop the unconstitutional conduct that is invading our streets each and every day. You've seen the videos. At times there are as many as 50 agents arresting one person. The scale is wildly disproportionate and has nothing to do with keeping people safe. Let's be clear, the stated reason of this federal government for bringing in this full invasion of ICE and border control is not safety. If it were safety, there would be other mechanisms to achieve safety. By the way, crime is down in virtually every category, in virtually every...
This is a fascinating legal pivot. Keith Ellison is essentially using a conservative argument, states' rights and the 10th Amendment, to block federal enforcement. He is framing federal agents enforcing federal law as an invasion of state sovereignty. But look closely at his language. He focuses on the volume of agents, 50 agents for one person, rather than the legality of their presence. He's trying to argue that the manner of enforcement is unconstitutional, even if the law itself is valid. It's a Hail Mary pass. Courts generally give the federal government massive leeway on immigration, so this feels more like a political delay tactic than a winning legal strategy.
Well, Will, I was sitting here just thinking about it, and they talk about violations of the 10th Amendment, but we're not asking, any government agency in Minnesota to do immigration law for us, so I don't see how that's an overreach. What we're doing is we're doing our lawful law enforcement mission that Congress has on the books. So, to me, obviously now it's pending litigation. I'm not going to go too much in it, but there were a lot of allegations there. That's a lot to unpack, and I was sitting here listening to this whole entire press conference, and the one comment right off the bat that just strikes me is that we don't show a warrant for arrest. Well, Title 8 under the Immigration Nationality Act, ICE doesn't need a warrant to make that arrest. So there's a lot that I don't think they understand about what ICE is doing, and the allegations are just really sad.
That is the calm voice of bureaucracy striking back. The ICE director is citing Title 8, which is the section of the U.S. Code governing aliens and nationality. His point is crucial. Ellison is complaining about no warrants, but Lyons is clarifying that for administrative immigration arrests in public, a judicial warrant isn't always required the way it is for entering a private home. This is the disconnect. The state is demanding criminal law standards for an administrative law process. Lyons is saying, we aren't breaking the rules, you just don't like the rules we play by. It's a technical defense, but legally, it's a very strong one.
Minneapolis police have had to respond to more than 20 ICE-related incidents, like witnesses seeking people being pulled into unmarked vehicles by men en masse, or ICE abandoning vehicles on the street with people detained inside. This is an unlawful commandeering of police resources. In just 2 days, responding to the chaos ICE has cost the city $2 billion in law enforcement and overtime expenses. 2 days. And I wish I could stop there, but I can't, because these poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents of the federal state have terrorized Minnesota with widespread unlawful conduct. They're making unconstitutional arrests and using excessive force. DHS agents have barged into restaurants asking to access secure areas. And when asked to present a warrant, which is required by law, they respond, we don't need one. DHS agents have arrested peaceful bystanders. They have fired chemical irritants at people obeying lawful orders while exercising their First Amendment.
Paul, you came in from Madison, Wisconsin. That's a long drive. Help explain to me why you're here outside of this business right now.
So I'm out here right now because this business put out a call for people to stand on this corner to watch the business for them. They've been really worried about reopening. They were shut down for the past 5 days after ICE was here, and they just aren't comfortable just doing this on their own.
And this is a Mexican restaurant and grocery store. And Paul, I see that you have a lot of equipment on you. You have a camera, obviously. You have another GoPro back here. You've got this acts as a whistle, you were telling me. And you've also got a first aid kit. It would be easy to understand why somebody wouldn't want to be coming out here to do the work that Renee Good was doing after she lost her life. But instead, you drove in 4 hours away.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for you to be here right now, to be doing this work right now?
Yeah, I have family in this community, so I was really worried about them. They shared their concerns, and they have a young son. They're not able to do this work. They're not able to stand here and watch over the neighborhood. So I'm here for them, for this community. This is what they need. They need to see people in this community out here supporting them, showing them that we are not afraid of this state-sponsored.
Two wildly different realities here. First, Ellison claims ICE cost the city $2 billion in 2 days. That number is staggering, literally impossible unless he's counting abstract lost vibes. It feels like hyperbole designed to grab headlines. Then you have Paul. This guy drove 5 hours just to stand on a corner. This shows how deep the polarization goes. He's not there to fight. He's there to witness. It's a form of moral performative art. He feels helpless, so he drives across state lines just to be there. It's a sign that people don't trust the system anymore. They feel they have to physically insert themselves between the state and the federal government.
Hey, so look, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't really care about the consequences anymore. I don't care. We need to kill these people. There's just an alternative. I don't care if you say, oh, I've got the crazy eyes, whatever. Yeah, I do feel crazy because we've had 3 people die in 72 hours, and we've had over almost 30 die in the last year to a group of quote-unquote law enforcement that is basically just buffed up mall cops, right? Who are gun-triggering happy Proud Boys. Let's call them what they are. It's the Proud Boys. Why do you think we didn't hear about them? Any of you heard about the Proud Boys all year? Suddenly no more Nazi marches? None of that shit? Right. There we go. They're Nazis. Peyton said it best. They're Nazis. And the only way to stop this shit, let's be honest, is going to be to get violent. We got to get violent, people. And I'm tired of denying it, and I'm tired of y'all being pussies about it. Grow up! We're not going to get through this holding hands. Peaceful protest only works if your enemy has a moral obligation to listen to it. They have none. You guys are sitting there holding up fucking signs and saying, oh, I'm mad at you. You're pathetic. Burn something.
This is where the rhetoric becomes dangerous. We've gone from legal lawsuit to kill these people. When political leaders use words like invasion and terrorists to describe law enforcement, this is the downstream effect. Unstable individuals on social media start believing that violence is a moral duty. This person is explicitly mocking peaceful protest and calling for lethal force. This isn't activism, it's incitement. It puts a target on the back of every federal agent and increases the likelihood that a routine stop turns into a shootout. This is the inevitable result of demonizing the opposition rather than debating the policy.
Some Democrats pushing for actions to rein in the agency, and that's raising concerns of another government shutdown. Bill Malugin is tracking that. He's live on the Hill with more on that angle. Bill, good morning.
Bill, good morning to you. There are a growing number of Democrats here on the Hill who say they don't just want to impeach DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. They also want to potentially use the threat of a partial government shutdown later this month as leverage to get ICE funding cut. Take a listen.
I think the first thing is to make sure that we remove Kristi Noem. The next thing is that we hold appropriations and funding for ICE until it can be reformed.
We have to, in Congress, leverage every tool available to hold this administration, to hold ICE accountable. We are in an appropriations process right now. We should not be funding this terror.
Connecticut Democratic Senator Chris Murphy is also putting forward a bill that would put strict limits on ICE arrests, ban agents from wearing masks, and keep Border Patrol at the border. And he's warning Republicans a partial government shutdown could be on the horizon.
But you're not ruling out a potential government shutdown over this battle for DHS reforms.
That's a decision for Republicans.
But you don't rule it out.
They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. If they don't want to work with Democrats and shut down the government.
Now the fight moves to Congress. Using a government shutdown as leverage to defund a specific law enforcement agency is a nuclear option. Representative Presley and Senator Murphy are gambling with the entire federal budget, parks, military pay, TSA, just to hamstring ICE. It's the power of the purse used as a blunt weapon. But politically, this is risky. If the government shuts down and regular people stop getting services, the public usually blames the party making the demands. They are betting that their base hates ICE more than they love a functioning government. That is a very dangerous bet to make in an election cycle.
Investigation where Renee Good was shot. This was moments ago. We believe we saw Governor Wallace's wife with him as well, with her arm wrapped around a gentleman at one point. So Governor Tim Walz and his wife making an official visit to the shooting location of Renee Good here in Minneapolis.
For her, this is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today. I know I'm one of them. I love this country, and what I'm seeing here happening is not America. It's just not.
Mark, why do you feel that this platform is still useful to spread a message like this?
Listen, I want to pretend like this is, I want to be here to celebrate, and I am here to celebrate, and I'm proud to have a Golden Globe nomination. But also, this is not normal anymore. And so I don't know how I could be quiet. And I'm feeling a little sick, so it's hard to BS.
And finally, the culture war. Mark Ruffalo on the red carpet calling it terror validates the emotions of the activists. And seeing the governor at the site of the shooting, making an official visit to what is essentially a crime scene involving a suspect resisting arrest, sends a powerful message. It says the state government is siding against the federal government, visually and physically. We are witnessing a fracture in the American system, where states and the feds aren't just disagreeing, they are operating in two completely different moral universes. The legal and cultural battle lines are drawn. Do you think the state has a case, or is the feds just doing their job? Drop a comment below. Like and subscribe for more breakdowns.